You know when you finish watching an anime and you're just so hyped about how awesome it was that you just want to talk about it with all your friends. Then you realize, as a cultured appreciator of Japanese animation, you don't have any friends. So you do the next best thing and go on your favorite anime forum. You're excited as fuck to see everyone talking about how good this show was. They surely must have liked it as much as you did. But then it's just a bunch of assholes complaining that the anime was trash and the manga was way better. Every anime fan eventually learns to just ignore these guys. Silly manga elitists, they're always going to be upset about something. Then at some point in the future you decide to actually read the manga and it's like, god fucking damn it, the manga assholes were right. But have you noticed how that doesn't actually happen that much lately? In general, an adapted work is usually going to be a bit weaker than whatever the source material was. And to take it a step further, I'd argue that novels and manga will almost always be better than films or anime because of various factors that basically come down to a medium diff. Books often have much more depth to the plot that gets lost in an adaptation due to things like time constraints or not having the inner monologue of certain characters. But the biggest factor, especially for anime adaptations, has just been massive changes to the source material. Over the years, we've all seen anime that change manga details to give it more mass appeal, or skip over certain arcs, or even just completely change the story because the manga hasn't finished yet. These changes have rarely had a positive effect on the anime. Like, you'd be hard-pressed to find someone that preferred the first Full Metal Alchemist over Brotherhood, which actually followed the manga's story. But these kind of shoddy adaptations are really starting to become a thing of the past. So I watched Frieren recently, and after a few episodes, I decided that waiting a week for a new episode to drop wasn't going to work for me, so I started reading the manga. Since I'm not a degenerate part skipper, I started from the beginning, and as I was reading the parts that I'd already seen in the anime, I realized that they were identical. Every line of dialogue, every panel, they were all in the anime. I was starting to form a blasphemous opinion that would get me banished from the manga elitist club. I actually think the anime is better. The anime is word for word the same as the manga, but with the extra elements of music, voice acting, and some quality animation, it managed to surpass the source material in my eyes, especially in more action-heavy scenes. So has it always been that simple? Just do exactly what the manga did but make the animation pretty, then you have a masterpiece adaptation? I'm not sure if this is necessarily the best route to go when adapting something to anime, but it seems to be what's becoming more common, and it's spawning a lot of anime adaptations that I consider to be good. When it was announced that Oshi no Ko was getting an anime, I remember being fucking terrified that it would suck. Oshi no Ko was a manga that I'd been reading since basically its beginning, and it always felt special to me, so I was truly afraid of a shit anime that would turn people off the series. Now I don't exactly remember if the anime adapted 100% of what was in the manga. I know it skipped all those flash forward parts from the first few chapters, but regardless, it was an incredibly faithful adaptation. And what do you know? It was well liked by the community. Chainsaw Man is another one that I thought would have a shit anime when it was first announced. But fuck was I wrong. I don't really want to say that the anime was better than the manga, because the anime hasn't even gotten to the really good part of the story yet. But fuck me, it's definitely on the right track. I'm so hyped to see Asa and the War Devils arc in anime form, because yes, I'm one of those people who thinks Chainsaw Man Part 2 is better than Part 1. Fucking fight me, I'll die on this hill. But anyway, if adapted correctly, a manga with a lot of action and fight scenes theoretically should be better as an anime. Like, I haven't actually read Jujutsu Kaisen yet, but I find it hard to believe that I'd be able to enjoy the still panels as much as some of the more insane fight scenes I've watched in the anime. I guess we're just at a technological point where fight scenes in anime can look so fluid and great that they can finally surpass their more detailed manga counterpart. So for basically any action series or shonen or whatever, watching anime will always be my preferred way to experience the story, assuming that that option's available. Like, I'll probably start reading Jujutsu Kaisen now that the Shibuya arc is wrapped up in the anime just because I want to continue the story. But you're never going to catch me reading Mob Psycho when I could just rewatch the anime. Obviously, there are always going to be certain things that just don't translate well into anime. Like, I'm not getting my hopes up for that new Uzumaki adaptation. But in general, it feels like most adaptations recently are at the very least good, if not great. Another thing that needs to be brought up is filler. In the anime Dark Ages, filler was such a big deal because anime episodes were coming out weekly, regardless of how the manga was progressing. There were no seasons, no breaks, just a new episode every week. So eventually when the anime caught up to the manga, they'd have to just create a bunch of bullshit side stories to fill time until the manga was further along in the story. Shows like Naruto and Bleach were massive victims of this, where a bunch of the episodes are considered non-canon trash by the audience. But filler really is a thing of the past now. With the amazing innovation of letting the animators take a break and see their families every now and then, a series can be faithfully adapted even if it hasn't been completed yet. Even something like Attack on Titan, which is such a long series that the anime was really close to catching up to at certain points, still managed to get a mostly faithful adaptation, without any of the filler you'd see if it was made in the mid-2000s, because it just took breaks between seasons. I know there were things that were different from the manga, like the government rebellion arc changed a bit, but honestly, I can't remember what the differences are now looking back. Actually, I do remember they changed that one scene where they got rid of shirtless Levi. Okay, I take it all back. The anime is fucking garbage. Right now, it's probably the best time in history to be an anime watcher rather than a manga reader. Dare I say, it's the golden age of anime adaptations. No longer do you have to suffer through an inferior version of the story just because you don't know how to read right to left. Now, anime fans can experience everything the manga readers do without having to watch Aku no Hana get butchered right in front of them. And who knows, maybe one day we'll actually get a good fucking Berserk anime, but I'm not holding my breath on that one. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more weeb shit.